Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Harry Muppet, and this is going to be Game 2 of the quarter-final of the DreamHack Open Summer 2013 tournament. It is going to be between red Zerg player Life down the bottom right side, and up the top left it is going to be SjoW, SjoW. I'm really not sure how to pronounce his name, but we are going to just call him the blue Terran player. And he is going to be going going nuts here. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, which depending on which side you're going for, he didn't do too well last game, and Life really went out there. He did some massive mutiling attacks. SjoW had some pretty good Marine, Marauder, Widow Mine stuff going on, but in the end it just wasn't enough. He just got overwhelmed. And yeah, the Zerg player Life really doing some good work. So we're going to be going back on to game number 2. It is a best of 3. So yeah, if Life wins this game, then he is moving on to the semi-finals. But this is SjoW's chance to get back in there, to get back and show all his fans watching the tournament that he can get in there and do it with the best, and I'm quite sure he can, but he has to prove it, and it is going to come down to this game for him to prove it. So we'll see exactly what happens in this game. Now we haven't got too much going on. The Zerg player just getting down the typical gas, not typical gas, hatchery spawning pool combination going on there. A bunch of overlords going out for scouting. This guy's going down, he's building a barracks somewhere. I saw it. It's building it pretty close. So he's really not worried about run-bys at all in this game. He's just building them out wherever he wants to. And yeah, that's cool, because I guess the Zerg player... Well, the thing is, you can't really worry about closing off your ramp if you're expecting to build a command center at like the 3.5 minute mark or something like that, because there's no point closing off your ramp at that point. But yeah, this overlord is going to get there just in time to see when the expansion comes down. If we have a look at the minerals, yeah, our Terran player is definitely saving up for a command center there. You can see it, and there comes the SCV. So always need to have excellent timing to build that command center just as your SCV gets out there, and you can see perfect timing right there. Didn't waste a single mineral, but of course that's what you have to expect from Masters level players. And here we go, Reaper. First Reaper is out. He's going to go out, he's going to do a bit of harassment, but the spawning pool is already down. So a couple of lings from both bases coming down, and lings on creep are quite enough to take care of the Reapers. The Reapers just, they can kite lings when they're off creep, but of course they can't kill workers when they're off creep, because the workers are just, yeah. But there we go, it's going to do a fairly good job. But the lings is just going to keep him distracted for so long, and as long as Life keeps up with his micro on the lings, he should be fine. And the Reaper looks like he needs to run away and regen some health, because he's getting very, very, very low. But the good thing about Reapers is they do regenerate quite fast when they're out of combat. You can see his health is going up quite fast here. That's pretty fast. I mean, for any sort of unit, that's pretty fast. The only thing that regenerates faster than that is probably roaches when they're underground. But here we go, the Reaper coming out. He's hoping to just whittle down the ling numbers, because of course if he kills all the lings, then Life has to build more. Or maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But he's got queens now. Queens should be enough to defend it. And meanwhile, what have we got going back on here? He's got a couple of Hellions coming out. So that's been pretty standard so far from a lot of Terran players actually. They really like the factory on reactor double Hellion pressure. Now I've never really seen the Hellions go in there and actually start roasting some drones. Never really see it, but yeah, it's good for putting pressure on the Zerg player, for making them build up more queens. And yeah, I don't know if it's really a bad thing, if it really puts the Zerg in a bad position, but I mean, yeah, why not? And we do see the armory. We saw an armory coming down somewhere. There it is. And so we are going to be seeing some Hellbat pressure once again in this game. This is going to be a starport, almost certainly. There we go. Yeah, so exactly the same tech route as the other game. The Zerg player is doing something a little bit different though. He is going for a Roach Warren, and that is going to be completely awesome. So he's going to be able to do a bit better of a counter versus the Hellions and Hellbats than he did last game. He had to run around with Lings and stuff, and it worked, but Roaches are definitely a very good counter versus the Hellbats and the Hellions, so he's going to have a bit easier time in the early to mid game here. These Hellions getting through though, managing to do quite a nice bit of damage to those drones. So the Zerg player, man, he got the queen numbers, but he didn't really close them off. He didn't really close off the gate. And I guess that we saw that last game as well. We've seen a lot of Zerg players, man, when they see the Hellions coming out, they do form a gate at the front of their ramp. But yeah, Life choosing not to do that. I mean, you usually get like an Evo chamber here, an Evo chamber there, and then a few queens, and then they can completely block it off. And we have seen quite a few Zerg players do that, but we did not see Life do that, and he definitely, that was a mistake this game. That was definitely a mistake, and he paid for it. But he has got quite a few Roaches out here, and Hellions is not going to help the Terran player anymore. Hellbats, not too bad against Roaches, but the Roaches definitely will be able to do a bit of damage there. The Hellbats should provide a nice shield, and he has got 2 Marauders up there, so he's going to be able to do a fair bit of damage to the Roaches. But will it be enough though? Because that's quite a large amount of Roaches. But with this bunker down, and with Marines inside it, I think the Terran player should be fine. I think he should be able to send all these forces out, and there shouldn't be too many problems hitting these Roaches and taking them out. If he pushes out now, I think he should be able to just wipe them all out. Here we go, sending a Marauder out. The Marauder chews these guys in, but the Roach is just going to back off. They're not really doing anything, and they know it, so they're going to pull back and try for another avenue of sorts. So you've got a Medevac coming out, a couple more Hellbats. So Hellbat drops all the way for this game, and they do work so well, so just why not? And here we go. We're going to see when this drops comes down, and you're actually seeing a fairly early third there from the Terran player. So very nice and very aggressive. We're actually seeing a third already down for the Zerg player, though that's pretty standard, around the 8 to 9 minute mark. Usually around the 8 minute mark we see them getting down and producing that third base. And as long as they got the creep spread set up properly, then they've got a complete avenue from the second to the third. They can reinforce it a lot easier, and it's really hard for the Terran player to hit it and get away cleanly. Here we go, the dropship's coming down. Hellbats get distracted by the Lings, all the workers get out of there, and the Roaches coming up are going to ensure that all of those Hellbats do not really do that much. Meanwhile, the Queen's hitting the Medevac, but the Medevac manages to get away with a speed boost at the very last second. And it looks like he may be pushing out for some sort of offensive here. I don't think he has the numbers though, because these Roaches are being built more and more, and he's just got a stupidly large amount of Lings coming out. We have a look at the army, he's about 20 ahead. But when these Lings start coming out, actually the Lings are already counted. What am I saying? But yeah, stupid amount of Lings there. He does have a worker advantage by about 8, which is not huge, but you know, Terran player's going down, he's getting his third, so he is fine. Absolutely fine in terms of economy. That Ling just getting roasted on the fly, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, the Terran player doing an excellent job. And he's getting the Hellbats and the Marine Marauders, and he's getting a fairly bigger chunk of Hellbats, a fairly bigger ratio than he did last time. So yeah, the Ling harass, he's going to have a bit of a easier time to deal with it. However, the Zerg player is getting Banelings again. He's getting a Banelings nest. He's going for Roaches, but the Roaches may have been a temporary solution to deal with the Hellbats. Another drop coming down here. I didn't even see this one coming up, but he's going to roast a lot of Lings and not too many workers. And these Lings are all just going to regenerate up to full by the time they get back. And here we go, there's the Spire. So he likes the tech options that he did last game. He's going to go for them once again. And yeah, if the Terran player can... he's got a large amount of Marauders and Hellbats. So this is a Ling Roach kill squad right there. And it should be able to do very well against the current forces. But once the mutas come out, he's going to have to get Marines in there, and then it's going to get messy because the Marines are going to be an open target for the Banelings. And yeah, we'll have to see exactly what happens. He really should get this repaired. I'm assuming he's going to do that at some point. We've got a large amount of forces coming in. Just going to take the watchtower for now. But yeah, here we go. Medevac coming in. He sees the base coming down. It's not completely formed. He could take this out, but he's not paying too much attention. He's just continuing to move on to the main base. And the Zerg it takes him ages to get around, but even ages for Lings is not all that long, simply because he's got so much creep. He's going to go right up on the edge of the cliff, and he decides, yeah, that's not a bad idea. So he's going to speed up, go down, try and snipe this thing, but the Lings, it's not going to take him that long. By the time they actually get dropped down, they're already halfway around there. And meanwhile, they've got a very nice army here. He's going to drop these down. It's not going to be... Oh, brilliant, brilliant. That Widow Mine down there hit all of the Banelings. Massively awesome attack from the Terran player. And I think he's going to have enough forces to take this base out. The Zerg player will have to cancel it. I don't think that was a cancel. I think it actually got destroyed there from the Zerg player. So yeah, not very happy right there. He's going to put a Widow Mine down right where it used to be. So yeah, very, very awesome attack by the Terran player. He's getting out, he's destroying the creep, he's doing a lot of good stuff here, but there is already another 4th base coming down here. A Zerg trying to do a sort of flank over the entire force, but he doesn't have a very large amount of Banelings, so he's not doing a crap load of damage. However, the Ling's doing a lot of damage to the Hellbats, but all the Lings are dead now, and these Marine Marauders should be able to do a fairly good job against the Roaches, chasing them all the way back. He'd like to snipe an Evo Chamber that's currently upgrading something, but here we go, the Marines coming in here, sorry, the Mutas, but there are a fairly decent amount of Marines. Should be enough to push these guys out, but some Ling reinforcements just going in. He's going for broke, and he had to cancel those Banelings, but he has managed to push in with Roaches, Lings, Mutas, but some reinforcements coming down. And the Terran continuing to hold his own. He's got so many medevacs helping out here. And yeah, they're just going in there. And the Zerg player, too much on the back foot. And we actually missed this drop down as well. I'm guessing these guys came in. He managed to get a large amount of drones away. But the pressure was just starting to get too much. And yeah, the Zerg player knew that he was not going to be able to hold this off. Just the Marines were completely countering his mutas, and yeah, a lot of awesome stuff being done by the Terran player. The Roaches, the massive amount of Marines and the Widow Mines were just even countering the Roaches, and he really had nothing left to throw it back at the Terran player. He could have kept going, but with this attack force here and this one here, it just wasn't working for him. And he said, "Alright, GG, I could push on for another couple of minutes, but it would probably end up me losing." So he leaves the game, and SjoW gets out the win there with some very, very nice Hellbat Marine Marauder. And Widow Mine aggression out there, and so very, very nice. And the Swedish crowd is going to be cheering their heads off, or they probably were, because this tournament was cast like a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. So yeah, very, very awesome. And we are going to go to an ace match for this quarter-final series. So will it be SjoW, who takes it for Sweden on into the semi-finals, or will it be Life, who does it for South Korea and pushes in to hang out with his other South Korean pals, Jaedong and Tasia, who are already in the semi-finals. And we are going to come back and we are going to see exactly how this ace match for the quarterfinal goes. So stay tuned, it is going to be awesome, and I will see you guys there.